Welcome to The Real Heal, a show featuring real, raw, and authentic conversations between experts in the holistic health space. I am your host, Dr. Renee Wallenstein, also known as the libidoologist, double board certified doc, entrepreneur, as well as healthcare disruptor. So if you're ready, let's get into it. Okay, so this week we're actually going to talk about 3 keys to motivation. And the reason I'm talking about this is because I have entered the world of food freedom and moderation with food. And after years of working with women and telling them, my way or no way, kind of in a way without really saying that, I found that a lot of women did a couple things. Number one, they disengaged, meaning they would, in an office, they would cancel appointments, or they just, would come in and not tell me the whole story because they felt judged. And I gave them too many to-dos. They were not really part of the conversation and how to personalize their care. It was personalized medicine, but I personalized it. I never asked for their input. And, when they would come back in and didn't do X, Y, and Z, I may have come across a little judgy. And so I've now learned from my mistakes in the office and one-on-one care in a brick and mortar. And I actually continued those practices into my online coaching business. But as of this year, 2022, I've realized, wow, there's a few things that were missing in how I worked with women. And I want to sort of discuss those today, because if you are some sort of coach helping other people, whether it be in person, online space, or even in the workplace, this can go across all leadership positions. Or if you are someone who wants to say, improve their health, their fitness, their nutrition, business, whatever, these are pertinent to everyone out there when it comes to motivation. Okay. So I'm not going to get too sciencey on you, but, essentially let's think about motivation. We're all we're born motivated, right? We just don't believe we are. Because, look at social media, like, oh, I wish I had her motivation. No, you were born motivated. The problem is society actually has sort of taken away our motivation because they promote external rewards and, the pursuit of things to make you happy in order to get you to be motivated. And when there's not that thing that's going to make you happy or some external reward, a lot of times we think we lose our motivation. And that's not really the case. And we're going to point that out in this episode. But, we also have to remember, yes, we're inherently motivated at birth. However, it is a skill that needs to be practiced. It's just like a muscle that has to be worked. It is something that we have to continue to practice over and over to get better at it, like any skill. So again, you were born with it. It is a skill. It is like a muscle. You have to work it. I don't want to say if you don't use it, you'll lose it, because it can always come back. However, if we don't practice it, we can forget that we have motivation. Okay. And again, I'm not going to get too sciencey, but there is this thing called hierarchy of need, Maslow's hierarchy of need. And again, I don't know if you all remember, there's a pyramid. And essentially what that means is, we as humans have basic needs all the way up to more complex needs. And, we need to satisfy our basic needs before we become more enlightened. And as you move up that hierarchy of needs, it's, essentially the things that keep us alive at the base, food, warmth, water, sleep, reproduction, because we have to keep our species going, all the way up to, feeling safe and secure is above that. So financial security, having a job, being certain in your job, that brings many people motivation. Then all the way up to self-awareness, the need to be self-aware and fulfilling your potential. And it's really funny. The more and more, and 2022 has been a year of me studying positive psychology and food psychology and all the things. I feel like as we get older, we climb Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and that that top tier of that self-awareness, not caring what people think and, fulfillment to full potential. Like, I feel like it's inherent as we age. And I just wish I did this earlier in my life. But if you're in your 20s, your 30s, and you're already looking to fulfill your full potential and becoming self-aware, you're killing it. But so this is like one of the original theories on motivation. Okay. But I kind of want to, and then there's another theory that, we're all moving away from pain and towards pleasure. And I feel like as we as humans, like there is some of that's at the basis of when we call ourselves unmotivated. We want to stay in our comfort zone or where things are easier and not move towards where things are harder. So there's a component of that, but that's not completely true. And that doesn't describe everybody because it's, again, very basic. But there are three basic psychological needs that, and when I go through them, you might be thinking, as someone who's trying to get healthier or develop a fitness routine or get more successful in business, or maybe you are a coach or a leader of some sort in a business trying to help your employees improve their motivation at work, you're going to find maybe if you have called yourself unmotivated, one of these three needs has been violated. It wasn't met. And maybe that's why you lost your feeling that you were unmotivated. Okay. So there is essentially based on this self-determination theory. And it's really helpful, again, coming from someone who, and again, I've worked with lots of women in the past that now in reflection, maybe when they felt that they were unmotivated or they fell off the quote unquote bandwagon, maybe one of these criteria weren't really fulfilled for them and they just didn't know it. Moving forward, potentially, if you keep these three things in mind, either working with others or working with, say, a coach on your health, on your fitness, in business, your superior in business, maybe we can communicate as far as like, hey, maybe if we do this, it'll help with my motivation, again, to get healthier, more fit, exercise, whatever, or at work. Okay. Number one, autonomy. And I think, this is essentially a basic human need that we just want to all have say in our life. We want to know that we have a choice and a sense of control over our lives and our choices. And I feel like when that's taken away, it makes it harder to sustain some sort of change. Okay. And I say this because, as I was saying earlier in the episode, when I was in my brick and mortar practice, I did this a lot as an OBGYN, the shoulds, right? There was very little decision-making that came from the patient. It was all, you should do this. And I continue to do that in my functional medicine practice as well. You should do this. You should eat better. You should drink more water. You should. And I very rarely would have input from the patient on the other end of the table, other side of the table, as to what they wanted. Because let's be realistic, if you're in the conventional health system, even the functional medicine space, within a lot of time to see a patient, you have a lot of information to convey and there's not much time for dialogue. And I found, in retrospect now, wow, maybe I would have had a lot more, and I don't want to say motivated patients, but patients that were a lot more interested in succeeding at their health goals if I actually talked to them and say, hey, this would probably be a great idea. What do you think? What could you do? Right. So that sense of autonomy. And if we're not making or feeling like we're making a change based on our own will, we're not going to stick with it. Right. I have so many people that come into my world. They say, just, especially for weight loss, just give me the meal plan. Just tell me what to eat. And, that really takes their power away and their autonomy away. And while some people might thrive in that environment, and I'm not saying this is for everyone, but a lot of people don't. A lot of women don't. And they will, and I don't want to say thrive, they'll survive for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe a month. And then since they didn't really have a choice in the matter, I just told them what to eat, they're going to stop doing it. And then they're going to call themselves names like, I'm unmotivated. I can't do this. I failed again. No, you just didn't have a say in the matter. So, now when I work with women, there's a lot more dialogue. Like there is like, yes, this is a strategy, but how do we have that fit into your life? Okay. How do we make that adjust your life as opposed to you adjusting to whatever thing I'm telling you to do. Okay. So again, we want to make sure that you're autonomous in your decisions, whether you are someone helping others or if you were that person being helped. And if you have that coach that says, hey, just do X, Y, and Z, if that works for you, great. But if you have tried that before and it hasn't worked for you, you might want to look for someone to work with that actually gives you a choice and a say in how you manage your care. Okay. And again, we as professionals, yes, people come to us to work with us because of our expertise, but I don't think that allows for us to make all the decisions and have no say when it comes to our clients that we work with. Okay. So essentially this gives us, our power back. And then we actually make better decisions. And then, the second component to this is actually we want to be held accountable. And I see this works very well, in particular for women. And you see this in a business realm, being held accountable, but this is in particular those that, again, want to get healthier, exercise more, get more fit, lose weight, all the things. Like, yes, you want autonomous decision-making. However, you also want to work with someone who's going to hold you accountable. And and again, this is kind of coming back to my work with women on food freedom and moderation is, women are so good at guilting and shaming themselves if they don't do the shoulds, right? If I should do this, but I didn't. So they put a moral on it. I'm bad. I'm unmotivated. I'm, undisciplined, whatever. And what I try to flip that around and say, okay, so you didn't do what you wanted to do as far as a new goal. Why? Just become very clinical about it, right? Like, why? Was it something emotional? Were you stressed? And again, I can equate this a lot to nutrition things, because this is why women come to me. They try to get that cookie cutter diet. They're told what to eat. And again, they didn't have a decision in the matter. So they become quote unquote unmotivated and they fall off the bandwagon, another quotation around that word too. And then, they shame themselves for not being able to do it, as opposed to just pulling back and saying, okay, number one, you didn't have a choice in the matter. You didn't adapt it to your life. So there's one, your decisions were taken away. Number two, you were held accountable, but then you were judged, right? Because you didn't follow through. And I think when we take that judgment away and just really get clinical about it and say, okay, why? Why did you have, why were you beating yourself up because you had the whole bag of cookies? I was stressed. I was bored. I hadn't eaten all week and I was depriving myself. Like, these are all things I'm like, okay, so how can we, maybe if you don't want that to happen again, how can we prevent that from happening again? Getting very clinical, but again, holding them accountable because they wanted to do something. They didn't do it. Instead of shaming and judging, we just say why. And then we try to kind of circumvent that next time, because we knew the why this time. Maybe it won't be the same why next time, but we have a kind of a heads up as to, and if this is something repetitive, then there's definitely an underlying theme and we can become very clinical about it and figure out the why. Number two, competence. We all want to get better at something that means something to us. So, for someone who's, a healthy weight in their opinion, and they think they eat well, and nutrition and exercise may not be, they've already mastered it, right? They're already competent at it, versus someone who wants to get better at eating healthier down the road and maybe implementing an exercise routine, getting better and seeing progress throughout that achievement of that goal is actually going to keep them going. Okay. And again, this is based on everyone's different values and beliefs, what they want. So I can tell you, hey, I want you to exercise, I want you to walk 30 minutes a day, 6 out of 7 days a week. Well, that's not a priority for you. Like, exercise and walking is not a priority. So you're not going to want to do it. It's going to have to be something that you want to do. Okay. A few ways of sort of developing this competence and getting better is, I don't love the word grit, but, essentially what it is a lot of us, when the going gets tough, we just want to pull back and stop. And I feel like sometimes we have to go outside, and I'm not saying push to the point of exhaustion, because that's called burnout. What I am saying is sometimes we just have to push a little bit outside our comfort zone in order to become successful at whatever it is, whatever goal we have. Okay. And over time, it should get easier, but again, not pushing to the point of exhaustion. And, for instance, exercise over time, it gets easier, right? It gets easier to do, and physically it gets easier. In the beginning, it might feel hard. And this is sometimes where I use these little, what we call micro shifts. And I was actually talking to a client this week about that with water. For her, okay, I was going to use exercise, but let's use the water example, since I had that example. She drinks 1 bottle of water a day. In my opinion, yes, she wants to get better at drinking more water. But if I was to tell her, okay, go from 1 bottle to drinking half your body weight in ounces, which is always the recommendation out there, do you think she's going to do it? Probably not. It seems too hard. Versus saying, okay, let's do like a little micro shift. Let's do 2 bottles. And when that feels easy, we're going to up it to maybe 3, and then up and up and up. See where I'm going with this? So, her little measurement of, okay, I'm succeeding at my goal is within her grip, because 2 bottles feels doable, but feels hard enough because she's used to 1 bottle. So you understand that? And same with exercise. You can, to tell someone to go exercise for an hour, it seems physically hard, and it can actually feel hard to fit in their lives if they're not used to doing that. So maybe we say, sometimes there's this book called Atomic Habits, which I reference a lot, but he essentially says, just get your workout clothes on one day, and maybe you just want to take them right off. I like to go a little bit further and say, hey, maybe you just walk into the gym and maybe just do 15 minutes on a treadmill, or go outside and take a 15-minute walk, right? Once that 15 minutes feels easy and like a habit, then maybe you can up it. So those are like little micro shifts. And again, maybe you start with 5 minutes, but whatever feels hard enough for you that it feels like it's a little bit of a push outside your comfort zone, but not so hard that it feels like it's burning you out or making you stressed, and because it's not fitting in your schedule. Okay. And again, on that same note, a nice balance. Like I see so many people overhaul their entire life on a Monday just to start a new, healthier lifestyle, right? So they're on a new diet, and they're trying to sleep 9 hours, and they're trying to get, half their body weight in water a day in ounces. And they're cutting out alcohol and cutting out coffee and all the things. Gosh, guys, that feels so hard. And yes, while it's in pursuit of getting you better at getting healthier, it's completely out of balance, because that's going to stress you out versus, not doing, like, maybe just, okay, we're just gonna, do one thing. We're just going to drink a little extra water. Okay. That might seem a little boring. That might be so easy that you just aren't going to do it. Right. So like, there has to be a little bit of a happy medium in order to achieve that goal that you're going for. All right. And we all like to see progress. That's the third measure of competence. Like, again, a little hard, but not being so hard that you're burning out. A nice balance of hard and easy, so you don't get bored or burned out. And the third is making sure you see a little bit of progress. And, when it comes to women I work with, as far as freedom to eat finally, without feeling guilt and shame and obsessing about food, a lot of times that is finding a way of eating that makes you have good energy and keeps your hunger and cravings at bay and helps with your sleep and keeps you satisfied. Like, that is our measure of progress. And if it's weight loss, I don't love the scale. So maybe you're, after 1 week, maybe there's a little bit of loosening of your pants that keeps you going. Okay. And then the last key is just relatedness. And, I see this in a lot of coaches I have worked with, and a lot of people I have been employed by, and a lot of women I work with. And this is essentially just a sense of feeling respected and cared for. And I have a personal example of this. Back when I had my injury and I was going through the conventional medical system, and everyone was trying to throw antidepressants on me and everything, I just felt like nobody was listening to me. I sunk deep into what I, thought was a depression, but the antidepressants weren't working. And I just felt helpless and hopeless. Now, if you feel like that, are you going to feel motivated to get healthy? No, not at all. I felt awful, but I also felt like nobody was listening to me until one day I found a functional medicine doc who actually listened to me. She validated my symptoms. So for once in my life, she related to me and I felt heard. I felt like I was seen and I felt like I was understood. That is the third key, my friend, to getting motivated. When you have someone, and maybe it's someone you're doing a health journey with, like there's somebody who understands you, who gets you, right? And who respects your journey as well. Or is it someone you're working with or working for? When you have that feeling like you are seen and you're heard, and this was a health situation, even if it's at work, like your opinion matters. Maybe somebody says, hey, like, I care what you think. Tell me what you think. I see you, I hear you, I understand you. And we see this all across social media, as far as like, feel, felt, I don't know, whatever that is when you're doing posts. I felt the same way. I feel this, so essentially you understand where somebody's coming from. And a lot of times I attract clients that are just like me. And I have been through very similar, if not the same situations they have been in. So I get it. Okay. And that brings me up to 2022, where I have totally changed the way I work with women, and I'm completely implementing all of these because I want the women that I work with feeling like they're motivated to make a change. Even if the progress is small, it's still progress. We're still moving forward. Okay. And that's the other thing too, is when you disengage when you feel judged and when you don't feel heard. And that's a big thing when I do programs moving forward. And this is kind of new for me in 2022 and I've even done the same. Like if I feel like I'm being judged or I'm not, holding up my end of the deal, like even when we talked about that accountability, if I am coming across as judging someone, they're going to run away. They're going to disengage because they don't want to feel judged. Who wants to feel judged? Ladies out there, we do a great job of judging ourselves. I was actually just talking about this on my stories last night. Like we do a great job. We don't need anyone else judging us. And so when we do feel other people judging us, like we just run and hide. We disengage. And we don't feel like we're related to, like, you don't know what I'm going through. You don't know about my life. You're judging a book by their cover. You don't know behind the scenes. And that's what I'm talking about. You want to feel accepted and supported without feeling judged. And this is kind of why also I'm having a little bit of a hard time in the health, especially actually all across the board, but the alternative health space, especially functional medicine. I feel like there's a lot of shoulding going on. And I feel like when you scroll through social media, remember they tell you how to like, unfollow people that don't make you feel good. I every day feel like even sometimes my colleagues, I feel bad. I feel judged because I'm not doing what they're doing. I'm not currently taping my mouth shut at night. Like, does that make me a bad person? No. But do I feel judged if I don't do it? Kinda. And I know maybe that's something personal. And maybe that's me sort of like now with these different colored glasses on, like seeing the health field as very shouldy. Like you should do this. And if not, you are bad. You are not bad. You are not bad. You're a person. We're only human. And, even if you make slight little changes and, you're not always consistent 100% of the time, but most of the time you are, let's celebrate those little wins, right? Because it's when we start focusing on the little, I don't even want to call them failures, but when we didn't hit that win, we focus on that more than the win. Okay. So, again, if you are looking to start a health journey, to get, to exercise, to eat better, to sleep better, to drink more water, all the things, or to improve your work performance, or you are a leader trying to help others do this, keep these three things in mind. Make sure the person, either you in this relationship or the person you're working with, has autonomy, has the decision-making capacity, and is held accountable. And if they're falling through on their end of the deal, get very clinical about it. Why? There's always a reason. Don't judge. Number 2, competence. Again, they want to get better at something that means something important to them. And a lot of times if you want to get healthier, it means something, right? It means it's of value to you. But we have to recognize that sometimes it feels hard stepping outside your comfort zone. You want to make sure there's a nice little balance between it feeling too hard to the point where it's stressing you out and so easy that it's boring. And you want to make sure that you have a way of measuring your progress, because that's one way of us, and kind of get clear what that's going to look like in the beginning of your journey. And then find someone. And again, this can go both ways. Like if you're employer employing people, or you're taking on clients in the online space, or vice versa, you are looking for someone to work with, make sure that they get you. It's the get you factor, right? Like you feel like they see you, they hear you, and they understand you, because that is huge. And it's what some people don't talk about, but it's really big when it comes to your level of motivation and succeeding at your goal. Okay. I hope this helped. And, I really thought it was important, and it can actually be, ping pong between someone in a leadership or coaching position. So the business professionals out there, or even someone who's on the other end getting coached and getting helped. If you find that you have been unmotivated in the past, or you've labeled yourself as unmotivated, go through these 3 things and say, okay, what was missing in that relationship, and how can I make it better next time so I make sure that I stay motivated and I succeed? Okay. I hope this helped, and we will see you all back on the show next week. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Real Heal and that you learned something new. And before you go, can you do me a quick favor? Take a screenshot right now and share it to Instagram and tag me so I can celebrate you for taking action and improving your health. And if you're enjoying this podcast, please take a minute to leave me a rating and a quick review. This will help others just like you find the show. And do not forget to subscribe, because you will not want to miss out on any of the amazing guest experts that I have coming up very soon. And remember, it's not selfish to take care of yourself. Do one thing today that makes you happy and learn to love life again. And with that, I'm out of here. Talk to you again soon.